Hello, Joe.
Buenos dias, senor.
How are you? How are you?
Doing fine, man. Doing
Cool.
fine. Kind of buried. I was, actually, I haven't even looked at macro today or anything. I just been blasting along. How about you?
I am. I have spent my day doing my favorite thing, and that's be on the phone, which is that's sarcasm because I fucking hate the phone. So
You kind of seem to have a gift of gab. I'm surprised.
I hate the phone. I hate being on the phone. I would much rather message on Telegram than be on the phone.
Well, yeah. I mean, but it's sometimes it's hard to get it all together in a
Yeah.
message.
No, I totally agree. I just uh it's just annoying.
Well, it's
Hey, you
tiring.
sent me like three things here, but I can't put them on. There's no
Oh no, I
link.
was just gonna. Yeah, no, that was just the
You
stuff
know what? I'll screenshot them.
on Hong Kong and a couple other ones. It wasn't anything too big. It was mainly China related stuff.
All right, let me see if I can let me see if I can do something here. I have been on the phone all day. I haven't even looked at prices. Where do we stand today, sir?
ETH's like 1550 ish,
So
BTC 20,400 ish.
just hanging out.
Um, yeah, I mean, Asian markets did pretty well last night. Europe's off a little, but nothing major. All around a half a point or so. U.S. off. Nasdaq's off 1 point. S&P 500 half a point.
We have
So everybody's
FMO.
waiting for the Fed. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's today, right?
Yes, it is.
What time is that happening? Do you know?
Isn't that usually around 2:30?
I don't know. I have no
I think it's
idea.
2:30. Yeah, I've just been buried today and haven't been able to lead the run up on that one. I think I mean, 75 bips. I think that's what everybody's expecting.
Well,
Um,
hopefully, if it's less, will they all go nuts? You think?
I mean, saw something that if they came in at 50, some people are saying it would be a 10% rally in S&P 500.
Oh, all
So
right.
I think everybody's firmly expecting 75. But there was some data yesterday that was about more about the labor force, and it was something about like the number of open jobs actually increased, whereas so it widened the gap between those looking for a job and available jobs, that ratio,
Right.
because that's what I guess contributes to higher wages. Um,
Huh.
Good if you're getting them, but that kind of surprised everybody. So I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
that's what really locked in the 75. I mean, all the other data looks good as far as I definitely saw a lot of where expectations were on like PMIs, different indexes. They were expecting, slowdowns, but it slowed down faster. So I was kind of pleasantly surprised at that. But yet, we're coming into like the US, the holiday season. So you get all that holiday hiring.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think that's probably driving most of this new job listing stuff. But that was the one issue. It wasn't slowing fast enough. So I think 50 is not going to happen. It could even be 100, but look for 75.
Okay.
Because why
Well.
rattle it? With election next week, you're not going to
Yeah.
blow
Yeah.
off the
They're not going to do
expectation.
anything major. That's true. That's a
Yeah.
really good point. That's a really good point. Yeah. That's not going
So
to
the
happen.
question is the market, already priced in 75? I think so. Um, and I think that's why you kind of see sort of everybody kind of, oh, well, maybe it's higher. Maybe you see that's why it's a little bit of minor selling. But,
All
again,
right.
I don't think so.
All right. I interviewed last night for Mission DeFi. Haim Solomon. That's by the way a name from history, a financier during the Revolutionary War. Anyway, amazing guy, Silicon Valley background, startups and big corporate development environments, et cetera, et cetera. Anyway, Haim is, if you're not following, it's Salomon Crypto, Salomon Crypto. You're missing out on some amazing, amazing analysis, education on how Ethereum works and how components of Ethereum work, analysis of DeFi protocols. This guy is just brilliant, and he writes brilliantly. He keeps them all in a roundup on Substack, but also, I'd follow him with alerts on, because that's what I do. Brilliant guy. We had an amazing conversation, and he had some, we had a really good discussion about going beyond finance and what's possible. And it was just a really powerful chat. So I encourage everybody to, number one, follow him, and then, run through his past threads, because the guy is just brilliant. And essentially he's learning by writing, right? So he's going through and learning all of the details of how these protocols function and what they work and how Ethereum works, by, he's learning it and writing about it as he learns about it. So it's got a really educational bent to it. He really thinks, it's interestingly enough, I asked him about his, who he's writing for, and he actually has 4 very specific people that are non-crypto people. He said a couple of whom he can't even talk to crypto about anymore, because they're so sick of him talking about it and they think it's a scam and blah, blah, blah. But he's writing for four very specific people: a corporate tax accountant, a product manager, a director of product management at Google, so just friends of his that he wants. He's creating documents for these people to be able to understand the power of Ethereum and crypto. So I thought that was really interesting. And I think that's actually something really cool to keep in mind is, as you're trying to build a following somewhere, or write for people, or do videos for people, who are you targeting, right? Like, are you trying to educate people? Are you targeting DeFi natives? Or, it was very interesting to hear him talk about the people he's thinking of when he writes these. And I will tell you that it comes across from his writings that he really thinks about how to position it properly. So anyway, highly encourage it. A lot of complicated technical topics that he makes easier to understand. A really great guy. Was really impressed with him. So it was a great chat. That'll hit Friday for anyone looking. This is his Substack, where he rolls up his threads into the Substack itself. Anyway, that's that. In sad news, one of the co-founders of MakerDAO died in Puerto Rico. 29-year-old stablecoin innovator, BitShares contributor, DAI architect, MakerDAO co-founder, died in San Juan, Puerto Rico. Not sure why or how, but he passed away. Nikolai Mushkin. Anyway, I need to turn off notifications. Excuse me. So sad news. You remember your first what?
First podcast.
You're funny. Funny.
I had someone say that to a meeting, and I was like, "Well, end of meeting." And left. Speaking of macro, this is one of the things you sent me. China's state planner, NDRC, says to release its 7th batch of frozen pork from reserves. Does that mean they're running out of pork in China? Yeah, you know how we have like our strategic.
How much pork do you have to have in your reserves for all of China?
That's what I kind of wanted to figure out.
What the fuck does that warehouse look like?
It must be like caverns, like salted caverns or something like that. With just big, pork carcasses laying down there, frozen, semi-frozen. I mean, it's got to be a friggin' nightmare. But I just thought,
I can't even fathom what that looks like.
Yeah, I'm sure it's a state of engineering.
Chopped up frozen pork.
Big piles of pulled pork out there, man. Dump trucks full.
Niblett says the pork reserve is actually serious stuff in China. I'm sure pork is very important.
No, it is. It's like, go ahead.
We got that government cheddar. China got that government salted pork reserve.
God, I could just feel the heart attacks bubbling up already, No, I just thought it was interesting how, like we think about energy and things like that to keep the economy going. They're at a base level. That's how important food is to them.
Yeah.
I guess, you got 1.5 billion people. You don't have as much of a buffer. I think we've got like 50 or 60 days from people's refrigerators to the stores to the warehouses. I think they've got like 48 hours. So,
wow,
key things going on there.
I mean, I know. I just picture this gigantic warehouses full of frozen meat stacked to the ceiling, and this line of emergency vehicles
rolling out with pig pickers for like pork barbecues and stuff. Yeah, that's a great idea, man. A bunch of remember when I was in grad school, one of my friends, her dad was a big pig farmer. Ouch, hold on, in South Georgia, and he rolled up with like a full-on trailer for cooking pork and stuff. It was awesome.
Yeah. Sean says the Irish Strategic Guinness Reserve remains untouched. All is well in the world.
Hold on just 1 second. I got to take care of something.
Okay. Unbelievable. Like, I don't know. I'm glad, Sean. I'm glad to hear that, because I can't imagine you without the Guinness Reserve over there, buddy. Aren't you in London now? I thought you were moving or something. Anyway, Sean, evidently Joe's having some technical issues. I'm going to leave this one for Joe. Oh, let me get to this little cool tool that just came out. Looks like it's cross protocol. You can come on here and see the latest liquidations on multiple chains and protocols that are happening. So I'm wondering if, they have to like massively upscale their servers for this anytime there's a big dump, because I wonder if it can handle all of that data. But this is actually, something you and I've talked about in the past, is using data like this. They're using Masari subgraphs, but using data like this to help protocols manage the level of risk that particular pools for lending are taking on. Obviously, it's supposed to be permissionless, but we've talked in the past kind of the whole cascading liquidation problem and how big a deal that is for all of DeFi. This to me seems to be a good first step to saying, oh yeah, we can see a lot of liquidations happening. Now, interesting enough, once you get to 10K, that's the only liquidation that's happened. What's the time frame? Now, this is back to August 31st. That makes me wonder about this data, because there's only been one liquidation in the $10,000 to $100,000 range since at least August 31st, and that one was for 91,000. Does that seem right to you, Joe? I mean, how could it be that that's the only liquidation?
I mean, maybe just on that platform.
Oh, wait a minute. This data doesn't go past August 31st. All right. This
so
just launched
1 day or whatever. Okay.
Maybe they just pull in historical back to the previous months. I don't. Oh no. Okay. You know what? Cool idea. I am going to say not ready for prime time. Mm-hmm. Mark Lehman says, laughing out loud, I'm adding my pork ribs to the Traeger in 15 minutes. I wonder how much pork they are holding in China. It's going to take a lot of grills. A lot of grills.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, that could be an opportunity.
Yeah. Wow. Unbelievable. Joe, I was opening up the other ones you had while you were away.
Oh, that's our I bond that was it 9 point something last?
Yeah, 9.62%. Yeah.
Yeah, now it's a 6.89, I think, right in
Still better than anything anybody can probably get anywhere else in the regular traditional finance market.
Yeah, so this is where you'll see stuff when these 10 years start creeping higher, because it's just a 6-month rate. But when you see right now nobody buys 10 years because, interest rates are going to go higher than where they are now, where it's priced. But when those start going longer and say the environment stabilizes in 12 months, there's probably going to be some good opportunities to lock up money, for like 10-year chunks at this rate, in that 7% rate. So keep our eyes open for that.
Eamon says, should we get it on a pork arb? Yeah, I think you were going to start up Pig's Feet DAO, if I'm not mistaken. Eamon, why don't
Yeah.
you get that register that? Can you register the domain and the Twitter handle, man? Let's make that happen. We'll start
There was
arbing
one.
pork.
Yeah, there was one a Chinese. And honestly, I was not leading up to this when I posted these stories. But if you remember, I did get into that Chinese pork product company a ways back called Pig X that was on xt.com. And I somehow, effed up and it, how do you think? I'll give you a hint. All right. In the tank. But it's still there. And, their whole job was to kind of put barcodes, I guess, on all these pigs.
That's interesting. Eamon says, trade you 3 ham hocks for an S19J, which is a minor. That's brilliant in China, right? Mm. That's probably like 1.2 ham hocks at this point. Sean says long pork, short walks.
But it all leads up to the Hong Kong crypto announcements that, again,
here we go.
A big push.
Yeah.
And I kind of like this. It kind of comes back to, Hong Kong always had a role in kind of a gateway to China for, it was the finance gateway, historically. And, it kind of returns to that in a way where, all of a sudden cryptos may be illegal in, what we used to call mainland China, but it's legal in Hong Kong. That could be pretty intriguing because all of a sudden there's a lot of opportunities, in Hong Kong.
Well, this is really interesting. I mean, open to crypto ETFs, legalizing smart contracts. I guess that legalizing smart contracts, developing pro crypto regulations, review property rights for tokenized assets, testing NFTs for its FinTech Week, stable coins regulations to be revealed. It is very interesting. Like, I personally wouldn't touch or go to be. I wouldn't have a business in Hong Kong because I'd be afraid that, the Chinese government will decide, no, you can't do that anymore, or we'd like to own that, and then you're fucked.
Yeah, it's always the competitor to Singapore too. But I remember walking in offices in say the 2000 timeframe with these, big Chinese investment houses. And, you'd walk right in at the front reception and it'd be like, whatever the company name was, a Cayman Islands Corporation, whatever the company name is, a British Virgin Islands Corporation.
Right.
None of these guys are located there.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
Because of that exact reason.
Niblet says after things with Jack Ma, it's hard to trust CCP at all. Yeah. Absolutely. And Niblets also said Singapore feels so much safer. By the way, James grabbed an iBond at 9.62 before the drop. Nice move, man. That's nice.
Smart. Very smart.
Diversifying his assets. I like it. Kevin O'Leary has opinions.
Really? And just who is this Kevin O'Leary guy?
Shark Tank.
Yeah, I know.
Investor in USDC. And he doesn't like all the crazy rogue crypto fans who oppose regulation. And he says basically he and his friends are not coming into play anymore unless they relent and, allow regulation. So,
I mean, I think we've already figured this out. Isn't the U.S. going to be regulated, and then the unregulated stuff's going to be somewhere else?
Well, that's what we would want. What we would really want is, at least sandbox. But, rabid and rogue crypto fans are holding the industry back. Does he actually believe that the rabid and rogue industry folks, crypto enthusiasts, actually control regulation in the United States?
I think he's more feeding on that theme of what everybody was saying about BitBoy when BitBoy, was throwing down his rant, that until everybody acts mature or something, they're not coming. Well, I think it just explains the whole nuance of the argument, in that, look, what we want, there's always going to be the fringe stuff. I mean, I don't even want to call it fringe. Let's call it the edge stuff that we find, that are trying to fulfill that ethos, the, full decentralized, no control kind of concept. But then there's always going to be the other stuff that fits in as, the regulated chains and things like that. So,
yeah,
I think he's just looking at the wrong place, Kevin O'Leary. He needs to go over where the yields are 2% and 3%.
Yeah.
And then he'll find all the stuff he wants.
Yeah, look, I mean, Coinbase is right there, Kevin.
Yeah.
Binance
Gemini,
US,
all those guys. Yeah.
Yeah, go play there. I mean, here's the bottom line. He doesn't care about any of the components of it. He just cares about it as a speculative investment asset, right? I mean, for him, this isn't about changing the way finance is done. For him, it's about making more money, and more power to him. I mean, that's you have that opportunity, but dude, you got plenty of places that are regulatory compliant to park your money. You don't have to in the crypto space. You don't need DeFi, So I don't know.
Well, I think it's like, if you want to play to try to get the higher yields, or you want to help create new tech, then you play in DeFi. But I think nobody's saying put everything you have in one protocol, and nobody's saying
I mean, look, I think his point is that institutional investors are not allowed to play in DeFi, and he says somewhere in this article that the compliance officers won't let them do it. But somehow the U.S. is the rogue few of crypto fans are preventing regulation of DeFi. It makes zero sense. But
no, it doesn't make any sense, because the regulators aren't looking at BitBoy or the rogue people. I'm not putting BitBoy in that category. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
I don't know what he means by rogue. Is that Do Kwon and the Terra? Is that the rogue?
No, I think he means people who believe in decentralization and no regulation, or as little regulation as possible. And so but I mean, the idea that somehow people who want less regulation and full decentralization are somehow preventing regulation. God, I wish we had that power.
Yeah, no, I don't think that's. Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, Kevin, go set up dude, you got the money. Go set up a fucking company in Singapore and invest away. I mean, what's your problem?
Or go jump in all these Y Combinator projects and those clones, because that's where you're going to find good projects that are going to come up through the U.S. regulatory framework for the most part.
Yeah. I mean, it's like you have plenty of money to set off offshore. So this idea that, the big U.S. banks cannot come play in DeFi. They can play with the tech if they want, deploy it.
But I just saw, and I think I tweeted about it this morning, that JP Morgan just did a DeFi transaction.
Really?
With stables. Yeah, it's.
Oh, let me see.
See if it's in my feed here real quick.
Pushing the limits, pushing the edge.
Yeah, I mean, it was nothing, they weren't in a curve pool or something like that, but they were, basically touting it, and I think it was a promoted tweet from them. Let's see where it is.
I'm looking for it. I'm looking at your wall, Chucky.
It should be.
JB Morgan has executed its first live trade on public blockchain. This is via the Monetary Authority of Singapore. There you go. Look, that's what I said. Yeah, follow the lead there.
Yeah. So, I mean, look, you can do stuff there and not risk anything, So,
exactly.
I mean, that's kind of like when you look at a lot of, I'm pretty sure it's still the same way, but remember these hedge funds and different funds would set up sidecar funds in like the Caymans or BVI, and the other one was in New York, for the international customers. I mean, there's just ways you do stuff. So
this is a government sanctioned pilot project for digital asset and decentralized finance. That's awesome. Yeah, you're in, guys. Kevin, You're in. It's okay. Chill out. Let's see what else we have here today. Oh, you posted this up about the Binance investment in the Twitter buyout that CZ is supposedly they're gonna help. Oh, this is good. They launched a Bluebird index.
Yeah,
that's smart. Very smart. That's very interesting. Huh.
Yeah. So I saw Doge in there, and what's the third one?
Mask, which I think is the private browser. Yeah, Mask Network, I think is what that is. Hold on. I've looked at these. I think they're coming on next week for an interview with me. Okay. I think it's Mask. Yeah, I think it's like a privacy protecting capability that works within existing social networks. So you can encrypt DMs between people. You can do all this kind of privacy protection on existing social networks, Facebook, Twitter, whatever. I think that's the idea behind Mask Network. I've looked at it briefly before, but not sure. But it would make sense that maybe Binance is making that part of the play that they're trying to do with Twitter and
Web3
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess CZ's ready to help when called upon.
Yeah. There you go. That Degen Score app is actually going to make use of the concept of soulbound tokens. So there's this platform Degen Score that allows you to go in and attach your wallet, and it tells you whether or not what your ranking is in the Degen universe of, how good a trader you are, how much you're willing to dive into new shit, all that good stuff. Right. And so now they're turning it into a soulbound token with the idea that if you do it, you can get rewards, but projects can now get access to people who will degen into projects who are powerful traders, whatever, who do trade in size. So they're basically turning it into kind of an anonymized marketing tool to market to degens, but also to attract them to other protocols. So I think it's actually a really cool idea. It makes good use of the soulbound token thing, where it's a thing that can't be transferred. So it's based on your wallet activity, what you've done, but it doesn't necessarily mean you have to reveal your identity in any way. Right. So that's very cool. Euphoric says Mask also allows you to use dApps from the social media interface. Oh, that's interesting. I'll have to check it out and try it definitely before my interview, because that's pretty cool. That's a cool concept that you could embed dApps into social media. Interesting.
It is. I'm like thinking, with all of the discussion going on now about what happens to Twitter next, everything from the, $20, I guess, blue check fee to something else I was reading about, another monetization play. I think charging everybody. I heard some discussion on that. I think it's important to think of these social medias companies all like, almost akin to like a layer one chain.
Right.
And that, how do we do stuff where we can cross across all the communities, cross community instead of cross chain, running dApps that can hit all the platforms at once, or use them in ways where we control that versus the platforms. Something to think about.
Definitely. No, that makes sense. I love it. Let me make sure I don't have anything else before I climb into this, because I thought it might be fun to jump into a few and see. Yeah, cool. I think we're good. One of the guys I follow on Twitter, Ignis DeFi, does really cool threads and research on DeFi protocols. He's launched a database of early stage projects. So, he does say it's self-reported data, but these are projects that are brand new. Most people probably haven't heard about. But I thought it'd be interesting. Maybe we take a look at a couple of them. Let's read through a few and see what they're like, and then go take a look at them and see if it makes sense. So Center is a multi-chain synthetic asset protocol powered by Layer 0 that allows users to mint and trade on-chain derivatives of various financial assets. Center, in a nutshell, perform high-volume cross-chain swaps across assets and chains, generate real and sustainable yield driven by protocol usage, unified liquidity for all synthetic assets across chains, seamless interoperability powered by large-scale multi-chain deployment, save on slippage using the internal slippage-free DEX. That's That sounds pretty interesting. We have a lot going on in the synthetic space of late. This is their Twitter handle, but not their website.
I'm on the website, synther.io,
Oh, okay,
SYNTHR.
cool. Yeah.
I got a white paper on there.
Do they show what's available to be traded, or it's not even launched yet? Not even launched. No. Being built on Ethereum. Is that say Aptos? Is that Aptos?
Hold on, I'm in the white paper. It looks like I don't see chains here yet. Wait a second. Synther protocol, KYC, ETFs, Y. It looks well thought out. I mean, that's the thing I would say, just looking at this first piece. What's on the Twitter feed? Is there a lot of activity?
They're talking about, partnership with Chainlink. Obviously, they have to have oracles. Say is one of the chains.
14,000 followers, 133 following. I mean,
well, yeah, it's early stage. So,
ratio.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Volts protocol, a novel DeFi. Why won't this scroll up any further? That's weird. A novel DeFi protocol primitive powering leveraged interest rate swaps. This is interesting because I just did an interview with another interest rate swap company project. The first ever synthetic interest rate swap AMM, Volts AMM utilizes concentrated liquidity, creating a market that's 3,000x more capital efficient. So I'm not excited. Bracket protocol is a DeFi derivatives primitive created by Bracket Labs, which makes it easier for buyers to take long or short leverage positions on top crypto assets like Bitcoin, ETH, Avalanche, Sol, USDT, etc., with fixed payouts and durations. Bracket protocol simplifies traditional options and structured products to better suit the current Web3 landscape. That sounds interesting.
They're on our beat drum, and they've raised at least $1 million.
Nice. Are they live? Oh, no, what we are building usually means they are not. Bracket X uses the bracket primitive to deliver up to 100x leverage long or shorts on popular digital assets like Bitcoin. Bracket Phi uses the bracket primitive to create simple downside protection that can be integrated into any app. Oh, that's interesting. It's kind of like an insurance protocol, I guess. Very interesting. So not yet launched, but another interesting one to keep track of, more conservative, more kind of for folks who are being a little more careful.
Have they been involved in anything else? I mean, their name just sounds familiar for some reason. Is it bracketlabs.io?
It is bracketlabs.fi. Maybe there was another Bracket Labs. Eclipse Pad, which is the first launch pad for the Cosmos ecosystem, accelerating ecosystem growth by launching, fundraising, and marketing highly vetted Cosmos projects. I always am interested in these launch pads because I never know if they're I'm not saying Eclipse Pad is bad, but there's been a lot of sketchy shit in launch pads.
Think Polka Starter.
There you go.
I mean, not picking on them either, but if you don't keep expanding, those launch pads just get gutted.
Yeah.
So, I mean, as if the market is keep going up, they get gutted. Those launch pads don't work in a down market.
Exactly. Eclipse Pad grants everyday users the opportunity for early investing into the greatest upcoming Cosmos innovations while helping projects raise capital, expand their reach, and bootstrap their early community base. Upcoming projects. Oh, they're going to do a launch pad for Eclipse Pad. There you go. 300 grand. They're trying to raise 300 grand, which that's a reasonable amount, right? So that's interesting.
So they don't have any money. They're going to go finance projects. They don't have money. So you're really playing it like a fund on.
Well, they're playing it like
new Cosmos stuff. But
you can come in and put your money into it, right? You can buy the tokens early, essentially.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's like a fund.
Yeah.
No, because they're going to take that 300 grand and they're going to go in and start a bunch of projects with it. So that's kind of the play.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, maybe so. Yeah, I think though that their goal is to really be like a public thing where I can come in and buy startup tokens. So, Now, this will be interesting. If they offer staking and farming for projects that launch on the launch pad, that could be very interesting. Right now, it just looks like they're doing it for their token that they're going to launch, that they haven't launched yet. So, Quadency. With a vision to make advanced crypto trading solutions accessible to the average trader, Quadency aims to be the one-stop crypto exchange. Ooh, that's a market speak. Quad and Seek offers the next gen hybrid exchange that combines the best of SEX and DEX in one trading experience, an experience that aggregates multiple exchanges and features easy to use pre-built trading bots. Quad and Seek is where all types of crypto traders feel at home. So they're going for they're leveraging probably the APIs of centralized exchanges while also offering DEX liquidity is my initial guess on this, along with having automated trader bots in the mix. So they've got accumulate crypto and let your bot calculate the best buy time. So, kind of like using our MTF indicator to buy on the dips. Smart order, manage your profits no matter which way the market moves. I don't know what the hell that means. DMAC, catch the trend with short-term and long-term moving average crossovers. So they're launching some really simplified bots at the get-go. And I guess they're leveraging, they're leveraging Binance and KuCoin, et cetera, Liquid on chain. So basically it's a mix play of SEX and DEX access. You're going to open your own accounts on the centralized exchanges, and then you'll connect your wallet to the decentralized, and they're providing a centralized interface, not a centralized, one interface to all of those exchanges would be what I'm guessing.
Yeah. I mean, look, there's so many exchanges and things out there now. Whoever can basically deliver a community with that is the ones that are the ones that are going to win. I just think there's so much clutter that it's hard to just think about the ones we've covered over the last year.
Yeah.
20 plus easily. But it doesn't mean there's not money to be made there. And it doesn't mean they don't have something unique.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like we like the Team India ones because we know that, citizens of India or people of Indian descent are more apt to go to an Indian company than another company.
Yeah.
I would say it's probably the same for Chinese as well. That goes on currently. So if you got a big community coming with it and some, different kind of DEX things in India, you might probably going to do okay.
Absolutely.
That gets anointed, but it's just a tough one to really guess at in this market for me.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. This one is in his list, Flash Stake. I actually have a connection to it. The folks at Block Zero Labs built this. Block Zero is kind of a community-based incubator / fund that allows members to help incubate, build, and launch projects. And so this is one of their newest projects. They have a couple of other projects that they've launched, but this one's called Flash Stake. And the idea is to get your yield up front. So you can lock up your tokens, know what the APY is going to be on that yield, and then get some percentage of that in advance. And then whoever somehow the protocol gets the yield at the back end. And I assume there's some mechanism for them to make a little bit of the yield from it. So actually Anthony Sassano is an advisor, and the folks on that team are really brilliant, and I love their model for how they're building and launching projects. So this one might be interesting. It's like, your 10 ETH is going to be locked up, but you're earning the yield up front. So you get your yield up front, your 10 ETH stays locked, and then you can do whatever you want with the yield. So
that is kind of interesting because I guess you only have the yield though, right? Yeah. So you can't borrow against it on the platform. So what they must do then is take that ETH, whoever these guys are, what's the name of this company? Flash Stake, and then go stake it somewhere else for higher yield. To come back to pay.
I think they only give you, I don't think they give you the full yield. Right.
Oh, okay.
So I think what they do is, let's see here.
It's got that payday loan feel to it.
Let's say 5 week, select duration, 25 days. So you would instantly receive 0.00034734 WETH.
So like $1.50.
Plus you get 32 flash tokens. Their flash token. So at a 0.10% APY for the 25 days, right? Because look, the yield on, let's see what you get for a year.
Yeah, put a year.
0.06 WETH and 5,882 flash tokens. So essentially you're getting 1.2% APY in advance and 3.76% APY with the Flash's current USD value. So essentially you're getting 4.96% on your WETH. And then I guess at the end of that period, you can unlock it. Yeah, Sean's right. It's a payday loan system. Basically, you're getting what your future income will be. Yep. Everybody. Yeah. Strictly Sports says, "What's good, everyone? Hey, man. DeFi, we love you. Thanks for joining us." So anyway, I think we'll start using this database that he's maintaining. Like I said, he's got 50 in here currently. All early stage projects. I love the idea. I love that he's doing it. He provides a lot of great content. So there's a lot more that we can go take a look at in the future for the show and looking at protocols in advance. So
yeah,
there you go. That's all I got today, Joe.
I think what I like about that is, look, somebody else is already, triaging data to try to put it into some kind of an organized format that we can use.
Yep.
So to get a list of 50 together is very cool for us.
Yeah, it makes our job easier.
Yeah, now we take these 50 and we try to narrow it down to 5.
Yep.
So if anybody wants to look at this, any of the listeners, be curious to see what you think the top 5 are. Maybe put it in the Reddit section, in our Reddit site or something.
That's a good idea. Sean loves Reddit. He's excited to jump in there again.
Well, he's stocking up on his NFTs over there, right?
Yeah, he's buying NFTs
and shit coins,
a bunch of shit coins, lots and lots of shit coins.
Well, that's good to know because you can access evidently DeFi through that Reddit wallet now. Evidently, people are showing how to do that. So Sean's
really?
All set. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Sean can be his DeFi degen self, man.
So let's have another list for Reddit, everybody. Let's give our top 10 favorite shit coins for Sean.
There we go. Because you want to make sure he stocks up on the proper inventory.
Yeah. So let's think about the moonshots and things,
Yeah, moonshots. And then let's do a top 10 meme coin list. Because I'm sure
he loves the meme coins.
Shiba Inu and I know he's got a stack of Doge. I know he's got that. He probably puts Elon to shame with his stack. So
his BFF.
Yeah, exactly. All right, man. That's all I got for today. Let's wrap it up if you're good.
I'm good. Yeah. Look, got the Fed thing coming. Let me just take a quick macro pop real fast before we break. Just see if anything's changed since we started. I just don't like to keep all these up running, but it looks
market's
like
the same. 20,400, 1553. BNB had a little run the other day. Somebody said yesterday. Let's see.
Looks like everybody's anticipating. I mean, Nikkei futures are off like a tiny, like 1/3%.
Right.
Looks like everybody's anticipating something, a little bit of a correction here, but I don't see like a bloodbath. We'll see what happens. As somebody pointed out, one of our listeners too, that it's not just the number, it really is the comments after. And I think that was maybe Shizzy might have said that.
I think Eamon just launched a new coin. The Elon Doge Cum Rocket Moon coin.
Moon.
I think he did.
I like it, an index.
Yeah. Diblet says we've all got some Doge dust on the down low. And Strictly Sports says BNB is running because it will be used for payment on Twitter, which that would be awesome if that happens. I'd be excited for that. I've always been a fan. Always been a fan.
BNB it's one of those ones should be in anybody's core portfolio, in my opinion.
So I guess what they're saying is that Doge BNB, here's what Strictly Sports says, Doge BNB, BUSD will be used for payment on Twitter. So I guess the idea is that CZ is willing to post up the 500 million if Elon would say yes to Binance-based coins being used on Twitter. That happens. That's a big that's a big friggin' game changer for BNB and BUSD. I mean, that's huge, big deal. Yeah,
But then, you also got to think that, now that Elon's taking Twitter private, it opens it up to that funnest play of all, taking it back public again.
Yeah.
Once you have all the crypto rolling, and because I mean, the valuation on Twitter right now, I've seen like, somewhere in the 11 to 12 billion range.
Nice.
And but he paid 44 billion for it.
Right.
So the idea is that he has to build up revenue streams, create the revenue model. This does it in a huge friggin' way. And then you could come out and do not $1 trillion IPO, but all of a sudden, if you've added all of this DeFi and crypto infrastructure onto Twitter, where that becomes the de facto kind of operating system of, assuming it's decentralized enough and all of that, don't want to.
Well, you could do it with wallets just like Reddit did. I mean, there's no limits. You implement connections to the wallet within the interface of the actions and activities within Twitter. I mean, that's totally doable, right? I mean, it's
what
just
about
fucking
airdrops
JavaScript
and things like that? I mean,
there's all kinds of
you guys
potential.
that have been here for 10 years.
Yeah.
I mean, I would be thinking if he's coming back in with new monetization schemes, crypto has to play a big part of this in his head.
Totally agree.
There's no other reason.
Hey, did you notice Strictly Sports has got the Miami Dolphins shit going on there? Is he local? Do we know him and we just don't know him by this name? I wonder. Oh, he said, recently found you guys on Twitter, been checking out your YouTube content. Good shit. Got a sub from me. Oh, thanks, man. Well, sounds like you're local because Joe and I are both in Miami, man. So maybe we'll have a meetup at some point.
Yeah.
Get all the local
we're down in
boys
South
together.
Miami.
Yeah. We'll make Sean fly in, of course. Eamon will have to come from the great Northwest. But yeah, absolutely. Niblets as well. So Niblet says Telegram was trying the integrated crypto wallet years ago. Lessons to be learned there. Absolutely. And that what's the project called? A ton on Telegram that took over the code that Telegram built for their own blockchain. Ton has actually been having nice little runs of late. I haven't looked at the price recently, but they were a month or so ago because of all the integrations capabilities that were happening. And as well, Telegram built their username marketplace, I believe, on top of Ton. Ton's up 4.15% over the last 24 hours, down 16% over 7 days, 30 days. Let's see what we got here. They're off a little bit in the last 7 days, but over the last 3 months, up and downs, 1 year down, but just like everybody else. But I'm fascinated by that because I love a command line interface. And I believe there is a shit ton of potential of building all kinds of cool projects inside of Telegram that people are just not seeing. The bot market for Telegram is just garbage. And the potential to build financial applications in there and make it really easy for the average user to not even know or care that it's crypto, that potential is really, really huge. And we're talking, I don't know what they're up to in users now. I know it's in the hundreds of millions of users. So,
I think they were over 1 billion for some reason.
Are they? Maybe they are now. Let me see.
I remember looking at data on them a couple of years ago on all these companies, and I could have sworn they were
700 million in 2021. So maybe they've crossed 1 billion since then. I don't know.
It's got to be getting close. But either way, that's a big number. I mean, look, that's when we talk about Team India and their 1.4 billion. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of overlap here, but you have a community on Telegram that's approaching 1 billion users.
That's right.
So, look, how many users are on Twitter?
I have no idea.
It's got to be 500 million or something, right?
I don't know.
Let's see. Because there's let's see, just real quick before we go.
I'm checking the CEO of Telegram's feed to see how many users he last claimed.
Pavel?
Durav, yeah.
Okay, I got.
Now he still says 700 million. 2 million daily signups.
Twitter's about 400 million as of January 5th of this year. So that's about 9 months old data, or 11 months old.
Oh, I think they both have tremendous potential, like the full integration of crypto on Twitter. And then if, unfortunately, Telegram can't officially do anything with Ton, right? I mean, in terms of integrating it directly. But the other thing about Telegram is that anybody can build a client for Telegram. Right. So you could theoretically build a client that had some novel functionality that also had crypto in it, but would attract users. The problem is if you got 700 million users all using the default Telegram company clients, it's a little bit harder to spread. So you got to do that with bots or groups or channels in order to make it really work and get wider user adoption. But anyway, I'd love to be able to do a lot more in Telegram than I can now. So
yeah, no, it was so refreshing. I remember going from like trying to do stuff in Signal to then Slack and Telegram was always there as well. But I just like Telegram better. I mean, I guess because I know how to use it, and you could scroll through 2,000 messages pretty quickly.
Well, look, I mean, the UI and UX in Discord is horrendous. And the biggest problem with Discord is that their default, when you join a server in Discord, the default is that you are opted in automatically to every channel on that server. The default users should be able to change that and make it so that you can that instead of having to opt out of every channel, because now you got to go through and mute every channel and change them, is to be able to just opt in. Like have a setting that says, I only want to fucking see the announcements channel in this server. And later I might add other channels, but don't give me fucking alerts for it. So the problem is you end up as a user with, 40 servers, all of them having 30 channels in them or plus more, and trying to navigate all that shit and keep up with the information flow is a nightmare. Whereas with Telegram, I can pick the channels I want to join. I can pick the groups I want to join, and I don't have to have this wall of shit. Anyway, it's probably just because we're old.
Yeah, no, probably. Well, it was an early one too. So in a lot of ways, it was designed for ways that seem more simple to me, in the sense of how to get through all the data. Telegram. Yeah. Whereas, I just don't like a lot of chaos.
Yeah.
In what I like to be able to cut through the clutter super fast. And if you can cut the clutter for me, I want that.
Well, and look at the unread segment in Telegram, right? I click on unread. I see all of the groups that have unread messages for me. I see notifications that it's tagged me or someone has tagged me in something. I can see all of that at a glance. Discord, not so much. You go to the inbox, you have to scroll through every fucking message that may have mentioned you through everyone or whatever. It's just bad. Yeah.
Well, also Telegram, it has all those other features, the disappearing messages and the, encryption from, it's phone to server to device. It's not like end to end like Signal, but the servers aren't in any jurisdiction where anybody can get at them.
Yeah, yeah.
So I like Telegram better for that reason. And it is the dissidents used or product of choice, whether you're in Iran or Hong Kong or Russia or anywhere, this is the one people use.
Yeah.
So, it's, that should tell you something.
Strictly Sports says, laughing out loud, oh my God, yeah, I agree with the Discord take. It's also default setting for all notifications on. As soon as I join a Discord, I get 1 million notifications. And Niblet says, if only there was a blockchain message broadcasting solution.
I owe you some time, buddy. I'm sorry.
Euphoric. Yeah, me too, bud. Euphoric says Silver Surfers. We'll start Silver Surfers DAO. That's what we are, dude. That's what we are.
Well, you remember the comic? What was there was the Silver Surfer comic book back in the day.
Was it an old man?
No. It was just like a metallic looking dude or something, if I remember right. But yeah, that's cool. I like that. Silver Surfers DAO.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so when I get gray hair eventually, then I'll fit in.
Eamon says we just need to learn the Discord alerts. It can get way better. I know. I understand how to turn them off. I understand how to mute channels and groups of channels. I do all that. It's just I spend way too much of my life dealing with it and deciding. Yeah. Like, here's the thing: deciding what I want to have on, right? Or deciding what I want to turn off by going through all of the shit that's filled up my inbox since the last time I used it. Whereas with Telegram, I know what shit I want on or off because I can join it or not join it, right? Anyway.
What I like about Telegram is, so I'll go to like maybe say the material indicators chat and see like 2,800 messages, and I can just press one button and go all the way to the end.
It's all red. Exactly.
And I'm like,
exactly.
And then I could start with what's fresh, what's current.
Yeah, but at Discord, you have to scroll all the way to the bottom.
Through the 8,000 GM. You're just like, come on.
Yeah, and who on the planet needs to be default subscribed to a GM channel? Seriously. I mean, really. So
Yeah, but
anyway.
no, I am learning it better. I am learning to use it better. So
Yeah,
I see
I use it
how
because I
works.
have to.
Well, I like the bar on the left, the menu bar that has all the servers. I guess you're in the different projects, because then I can see which projects that I still pay attention to, and if I don't like them, I just leave the group.
Yeah.
So I like that, but that's about the only thing that really helps me.
Strictly Sports says, I won't want to see 100 channels in a Discord that I'm never going to look at and have to scroll through to find the few channels I use. Totally agree. Yep. All right, Joe, let's wrap it up. I got a call here in 4 minutes. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. Thank you, Strictly Sports, Eamon, Euphoric, Niblets, Sean, of course,
Sean.
and James. And Mark, by the way, thank you all for joining us and participating. We love you and we appreciate you. You make the show work and much more interesting than just the two of us babbling on. So thanks so much for participating. We appreciate you guys being here and the wisdom and knowledge that you bring to the table, as well as the feedback and corrections you give us. Please join our Reddit, r/Mission DeFi, to give us more feedback, ideas, thoughts, shows, projects we should cover. Anything you want to talk about is open over there. We're just trying to create a community where everybody can join together and collaborate. We've got some cool collaboration things that have started happening as well. Let's see what else. If you like what you're hearing and you're listening to us on the podcast, please rate or review us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. If you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe. Click the little bell so you get notified when we put out a new episode, and click the thumbs up to boost us in the algorithm so more people find out about us and we keep doing this on a regular basis. That's all I got for today, Joe. Thanks for hanging in there. Strictly Sports said smash the thumbs up. That's right. We're supposed to say smash the thumbs up and click the little bell.
Put the Reddit link
we will put I was putting the Reddit link in the show notes, and I'm behind the 8 ball and forgot. So
no biggie.
There you go. All right, folks. Man. Thanks so much. Have a great one, Joe. Have a great day.
You too, buddy. Thanks, everyone. Look forward to